Whenever you see laments silence, so whenever you see a people group told they're supposed to be over it by now, or they're not supposed to think about that anymore, you are actually going to see the birth of a false worldview come to pass. So, for example, we could look at the prosperity gospel, this false presentation of the gospel that tells you that if you do the right things, then good things and wealth and possessions and materials are going to come to you. You know, that isn't the true gospel. Of course, we know that Jesus was even born into poverty. Jesus was a man of suffering. He was familiar with pain. But when we do not allow people to lament, and when we don't introduce them to a proper theology of lament and theology of suffering, we will see wrong worldviews come into being. You know, we see that in the book of Job. Job is in great distress. Job is in suffering, and there's no indication that Job sinned. This suffering happened. God allowed this suffering to happen. And you know, when Job's friends met him, the first 7 days it said they couldn't even speak. They were just silent because they were just in awe of this grief. Like there was just no words that they could say. But over time, as those 7 days passed, Job's friends wanted to offer a theology lesson to him in his grief. And it actually was 3 really bad theology lessons. They actually offered false things about God. You know, they said, well, maybe this suffering is happening because of your sin, which was not the case. Certainly, sometimes we will walk through suffering because of our own sin, and we need to lament that. But there is not always a cause and effect relationship with sin, as we see in Job, as we see in a perfect Savior in Jesus Christ, who did not sin and experience deep, deep suffering. So there are severe, severe consequences when we silence the laments of people. That's when we are going to see false theology come forward. And Instead, we can introduce people to a God who meets them in their distress. We can introduce them to a Christian worldview that says, yes, in this world, you are going to have trouble, but take heart because Jesus Christ overcame the world and you will too.